wave for his service crew and was followed by Cliff Barker and Vic Camphor in the MGM Motors Land Rover. Mundell and Bond stopped to refuel and replace a punctured tyre on the Prolong Bat.
Very dusty, eh? I mean, get up to somebody, that's it, and you can't go any further until either he has a puncture or goes in the wrong direction. But yeah, good fun.
Coetzee and Fourie were the new Class E leaders after Pearson Forsloo were slowed by punctures. Lap 2 of the Oven Fresh Biscuits 500, round 4 VSA Off-Road Championship, presented by ABSA. And Grobler and Leek were now only 1 minute and 20 seconds ahead of teammates de Villiers and Jordan. Morocco Rally winner Janelle de Villiers had picked up the pace and was putting Hannes Grobler under pressure that he certainly didn't need at this stage of the race. And Schalthammer were only 5 minutes behind the leaders, and apart from a puncture, had not had any problems on the Team Ford Racing Ranger. The misfire on Voss and Griffith's proudly South African Nissan continued unabated, but it did not seem to affect the reigning production vehicle champions, who were 4th overall. Harkus and Berthold had a firm grip on the special vehicle category lead, but disaster was about to strike. A left rear puncture forced them to stop, which allowed their pursuers to gnaw away at their lead. And Robin Harton took advantage of the Bat Racing crew's problems and moved up a place in the overall standings. The Bat Racing pair made quick work of replacing the flat wheel and managed to hold on to the special vehicle category lead just ahead of Macheneni and Stangl in the Total Sam Racing Jimco. Alfie Cox was having a good time in the Class D, leading Arnold Chatzkar's Nissan hardbody. The 40-year-old off-road motorcycle star had made a successful transition from 2 to 4 wheels and already had 1 class win under his belt. Scott Abraham was now behind the wheel of the Atlas Copco Chicago pneumatic Jeep and was starting to pile on the pressure when all hell broke loose. A rear control arm broke, and the vehicle was launched into a series of barrel rolls and eventually ended up on its roof, which left the way open for Barker and Camphor to gain another position in the MGM Motors Land Rover. With just over an hour to go in the Oven Fresh Biscuits 500, Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek had upped their pace in the proudly South African Nissan hardbody, and were 3 minutes ahead of teammates Janelle de Villiers and Francois Jordan, who dropped some time when they picked up a puncture. Woolridge and Schalthammer had no answer for the Nissans and decided to settle for 3rd overall in the Team Ford Racing Ranger. Despite the field having spread out, dust and poor visibility was still a problem for everyone bar the leaders. And talking of leaders, Macheneni and Stangl were the new special vehicle category leaders. They're taking full advantage of Harkus and Berthold picking up another puncture on the Bat Racing entry. Gerald Mundell and Billy Bond in the Prolong Bat were now 3rd overall in the special vehicle category, over 4 minutes behind the 2nd-placed Bat of Harkus and Berthold. Class D leaders Alfie Cox and Henny Tersteger maintained a fast but cautious pace in the Arnold Chatzkar's Nissan hardbody. Marius van Vieren and Chris Marie were having their best run of the season in the Almirante Auto Spray Land Rover. They were second in Class D and well ahead of GBS Nissenpair, Kutsia Labuskachny and Johan Garber, whose teammates Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo lost a lot of time replacing a front wishbone. The battle for Class E honours was intense. Kasi Kutsia and Oki Fari led in the Castrol Toyota Hilux KZTE and had husband and wife Niels and Zelda van der Walt in close pursuit in the diesel-powered Nissan hardbody. Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham made it a diesel-powered benefit when they came through third in the Team Ford Racing. Clint Gibson and Mike Brown in the Presidium Financial Services bat took over the Class B lead soon after the midway point. Gareth Walk, who got lost during the prologue and started 59th in the O'Hagan's Kopenong Hotel Mighty Mag, was at one stage only 6 seconds behind Gibson, but dropped down to third. Botswana businessmen Mohammed Noor and Mohammed Mulsin had matters under control in Class S, but could not afford to ease their pace because Frikkie Botha and Melville Priest, who'd also got lost in the prologue, were on a charge in the Santon Off-Road Accessories Race Co. Priest, like Zane Pierce, comes from a saloon car racing background. There were only a few kilometers to go in the Oven Fresh Biscuits 500, and predictably, proudly South African Nissan pair Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek were still in the lead and on their way to an unprecedented 7th consecutive race win. De Villiers and Jordan had at one stage closed to within 30 seconds of the leaders, but dropped back with a puncture. Woolridge and Scholthammer had also picked up a puncture on the Team Ford Racing Ranger, but managed to change the wheel without losing a position. Fortunately for them, the challenge from Duncan Foss and Mike Griffith came to an end when they couldn't restart the Nissan after extinguishing a small fire in the engine compartment. Fourth-placed R.P. Reinecker and Robin Harton had a clean run in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser and were happy to finish their second race of the year. Apart from having to be dislodged from a tree by arch-rival Gerard du Plessis, special vehicle leaders Atag Machaganeni and Mike Stangl stayed out of trouble and were on the way to their second win of the season. Cliff Barker and Vic Kampfer had made steady progress in the MGM Motors Land Rover, moving from 12th at the start to 6th overall. Early special vehicle leaders Brandon Harkis and Gary Berthold had a frustrating day in the bat. Punctures robbed them of a potential win, and they had to complete the last 80 kilometers of the race with a flat wheel. Alfie Cox and Henny Testierger proved to be a formidable combination in the Class D leading Arnold Chatz Cars Nissan hardbody, while Mandel and Bond produced another consistent podium finish in the prolonged bat. Marius van Vieren and Chris Marie finally brought the Almirante Auto Spray Land Rover home in one piece to record their first finish of the season and a well-earned runner-up spot in Class D. Class E ended up being a diesel benefit, with the first 4 vehicles across the line powered by diesel engines. Coetzee and Fourie showed the rest of the field the way home in the Castrol Toyota Hilux, and were followed by Labuskachting and Garba in the Class D GBS Racing Nissan. Niels and Zelda van der Walt in the Nissan hardbody were happy with their second place finish in Class E, only 21 seconds ahead of third placed Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham in the Team Ford Racing Ranger. Former Class D champion Piet Haasbroek and Freddie Skeppers have had mixed fortunes this season and had to be satisfied with 4th in Class D in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser. The father and son Van Renen combination survived their dusty ordeal and brought the Nissan Terrano home 6th in Class T, while Dion Skuman and Jeremy Fall in the Top Car Ferodo Nissan hardbody made it 4 finishers in 4 starts. Jannie Visser and Johan Leroux brought their Toyota Hilux, affectionately known as Fred and previously driven by Cassie Coetzee, home 7th in Class T, with Hannes Steen and Ferdy Seegers 4th in Class E in the diesel-powered Toyota Hilux. Former production vehicle champion Alfred van Vieren and son Tommy finished 20th overall and 5th in Class E, with championship contenders Mark Cronier and Chris Birkin 15 seconds behind in the slightly battered Castrol Toyota Hilux. Clint Gibson and Mike Brown in the immaculately prepared Presidium Financial Services bat managed to hold on to the Class B lead until the finish. Noor and Mulzin had a slender lead in Class S and would miss out on the class win when Buerta and Priest nipped past just before the finish. Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek never put a wheel wrong and crossed the finish line just under 2 minutes ahead of de Villiers and Jordan to win the Oven Fresh Biscuits 500 and record their 7th consecutive victory in the Nissan.
Vehicle didn't miss a beat, and the vehicle was unbelievable. Team did a great job, and we won it.
Janelle de Villiers and Francois Jordan made it a Nissan 1-2.
Couldn't really do anything. I mean, we just had a whole station behind Hannes, and it was impossible to pass, and we knew no one could pass us, so we were just holding station. We got a puncture towards the end, but we had a good enough gap on the guys behind, so we could change it and get out in. I'm glad we had a 1-2.
Neil Woolridge and Ken Schalthammer were happy under the circumstances with their 3rd placed finish in the Team Ford Racing Ranger.
We didn't have such a great first lap. I didn't feel really part of the car really right, and a really stupid little thing was this vent broke open right near the beginning, and it just sort of put me off my pace, and we lost a bit of time, and then on the second lap we really started to go, and we got right back into Geniel's dust, and we had I think a rim went on the left rear, so we had to stop and change that. But we're very happy. It's a good strong 3rd finish. It's the first time we were actually doing a full race distance with the new car, the new engine, and we're very, very, very happy. It's very enthusiastic. The car's good, and I think there's a lot more to come. And I think it makes for a very exciting remainder of the season. You know, we've got 4 events left, and the car's really on the pace, and just got to get ourselves a bit more on the pace, and we'll be there.
Ipi and Magali Machaganeni waited in eager anticipation for their father, and there were cheers all round from the enthusiastic Sam Racing crew, who had to push the Jimco off the finish line when Mmabatho couldn't select a gear.
We kept the car together, we never had any punches, we lost reverse gear, thank God to the Duplessis. They stopped, they pushed us out, and they still let us go in front of them. I think that's pure sportsmanship. I'm very proud of them. They're very, very good people. They deserve to win every race. And we followed Brandon for probably 150 k's from here, and we made time on them. When they turned, they took a 90 degree, they saw us, and that spooked them, I think, and they went like a bat out of hell. And I think they either got a puncher or hit something, I don't know. And we made it to the finish.
Harkus and Berthold limped across the line to finish over 23 minutes behind the special vehicle category winners. A well-earned Class D victory for Alfie Cox and Henny Tersteegen.
We had one blowout, just starting the second lap, so then, you know, we only had one spare, so we've been sitting on tender hooks the whole way because it's been very stony. But, you know, just a big thank you to Henny. Now that he's back, it's incredible to have a good navigator, and the team from Arnold Chats. I mean, the guys have worked, you know what off-road racing is about, and thankless hours, and look at them, happy as hell, the whole lot, and I'm over the moon as well.
Van Vieren and Marie finished second in Class D, with the Class E win going to Kossie Kutsia and Oki Fari.
Well, the first 100 k's was just formation, you know. It's followed the leader, and after 105 kilometers, two guys got flat wheels, so in Class E. So from there on, we did it. And it was a nice, exciting race. Better than last year, definitely, in my first class win. So from now on, we can just do better.
A maiden Class B win for Clint Gibson, Mike Brown and Bat.
Fine, dusty, very dusty. Yeah, started 44th. I think we did quite well. Hard day's work at the office.
Unlike previous events, the Class T Brigade dominated the top 5 positions in the production vehicle category, with Nissan picking up 2 class wins and Toyota 1. A similar scenario prevailed in the special vehicle category, with Class A vehicles occupying the top 3 places on the leaderboard. Class B entries filled 5 of the top 10 positions, and Bert and Priest won Class S. In the Eastern Cape,